is brought to you by Company of Heroes 2, coming June 25th. Pre-order now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN's Rewind Theater for Batman Arkham Origins. I'm Greg Miller alongside, I've never thought of a nickname for you, IGN Strongman, Chuck Osborne.
I do not have a nickname, no.
We don't work together enough, Chuck, but here we are. We're going to rewind this. You're a big DC Comics fan.
I'm a
big
huge DC
Comics fan. It's our peanut butter and jelly are getting all mixed up here. We're, of course, at E3 right now. We're getting to run through a little bit of this whole Batman Arkham Origins thing. This is, every time we do one of these Batman Arkham Origins rewinds, Chuck, it's more of just summarizing a little bit of everything we know and then introducing something new. Big thing that's new from this trailer, Bane. We knew Bane was going to be in the game, but we didn't really know what he's going to look like. Here we get a look at him. Definitely not the same version of Bane we ran into. A very
different version of Bane than we've ever seen before. He doesn't look like a Mexican wrestler here.
Yeah, he just looks more intimidating.
And also, if you look closely on the closely at his faceplate, you can almost see a Batman emblem.
Oh, you can. Yeah, he's out to break the bat. I wonder how far they'll go that. Of course, obviously, if you didn't know, Batman Arkham Origins, not the origin story of Batman. He's already been Batman for a couple of years. It's kind of the origin stories of all his relationships with his greatest rogues. I just was on the IGN live show with the folks from WB Games Montreal where we talked about this. And what's really happening here is that Batman has been Batman for about 2 years, they said, and he's really only been fighting purse snatchers and pimps. He hasn't really run into the crazy-ass rogues gallery we know so well. But what happens, of course, is Black Mask here, Roman Sionis.
Right.
A big Sionis
introduced in 1985 in the comics. What's really interesting here is that these are two characters that were introduced later on in the comic books. And actually later on in Batman continuity in the comic book. So it's a little bit odd that they'd be setting him up 2 years on in the comics because, Bane didn't come along and break Batman's back until he already had, he was already a crime fighter for several years.
Sure. Well, you think he's going to get his back broken in the game?
They might do that.
I bet they'll try.
They could.
And I forget, in Arkham Asylum, does Bane say that he broke his back or that he's going to break the bat or he's done it before?
I don't remember if he did say that.
All right, well, the gist here, of course, is that Black Mask, he's Roman Sionis. He's in charge of Gotham at the moment in terms of the bad guy stuff. And he puts out this $50 million contract to kill Batman, which brings Batman's eight assassins to kill Batman, including so quick on this one. We haven't even gotten to the real trailer yet, too. Brings out Deadshot, of course. What do you got for Deadshot? You know a whole bunch of stuff about him?
Deadshot actually. Okay, so this is a very different character model as well.
Oh, sure,
for him. It's a cool one though. I've never seen him look like this. A little bit more armored up.
Yeah. Floyd Lawton, another one of these assassins. Then, of course, the man who needs no introduction.
Right.
Slade Wilson. Deathstroke the Terminator. Interesting that they're putting Deathstroke and Deadshot out at the same time.
Yeah, well, I mean, also, Deathstroke has always been more of a Teen Titans villain.
Right.
Not really a Batman villain, but after Identity Crisis, started to become a bigger villain towards everybody, including Batman, and of course was featured in the last game as well.
Right. Here we have a shot through Gotham City. Again, this is taking place in Gotham City, 2 times bigger than the Gotham you knew in Arkham City. It's also not destroyed in a prison. It's Christmas Eve. That's why you're not going to run into too many people on the streets, mainly just bad guys out to do bad stuff. More honest to go a little bit further, and then we actually get to the trailer. So we wasted a lot of your time just showing you cool stuff. Again, if you're just joining us, WB Games Montreal, not Rocksteady. Rocksteady is giving them the keys to the kingdom here to make an early one. I found this interesting. This is basically it's Calendar Sun. It's Calendar Sun. I tried to find a reference to it if it was Calendar Man's alter ego. It is not. Right here you get it behind the R. You see a little bit more of it. It's just an interesting billboard to have up. If these trailers are going to be anything like the Rocksteady trailers, nothing is in here by accident.
Right.
It's all going to play in pretty hard.
A lot of little Easter eggs.
Exactly. Getting going here. Season's greetings. Down by, it looks like it could be the Gotham Courthouse again. It could just be Gotham City Hall. They are taking stuff that we knew from the other games and making. Today in the live demo, when I was talking to the folks from WB Games Montreal, they were talking about how, Wonder Tower might not be completed. They say might, like they don't automatically know already, Chuck. But yeah, it might not be completed yet, and these will be different things, and things won't be destroyed yet. Batman dropping a long way down. This I couldn't read on my screen. What I have here is basically blah, 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 Atlantic Bay.
Transatlantic Air.
Thank you so much. See, this is why I'm glad we can actually get up on a bigger screen. I was not getting a good feed over here at E3. But Batman down. It's a younger Batman, like we said. He's 2 years into being the Batman. He's not tripping on his cape. He's not pulling his cowl down. He's still doing the stuff you know and love. Going up against Black Mask here again. Another good shot of him. Here's an intimidating shot of the Dark Knight.
Yeah, a little bit more intimidating than we've seen before, just because the costume looks a little bit different. It looks more like an early version of the costume. A little bit more fabric, less armor to it.
It reminds me a lot of the Dark Knight movie, the Nolan one, where it's separated by plates, right? You can see here a little bit of mesh between them.
Right.
It's more of a up-and-comer suit rather than the completely polished one that we saw in Arkham Asylum and then Arkham City. But like I was saying, the combat is what you know and love. I was watching the live demo, which you can check out on IGN now, and it looked like Arkham City. It looked like Arkham Asylum. There was the reversals. There was all this goofy stuff. Loved it. Here's another shot of Bane. I really like that you call out that mask part, having the bat on there. And I like that Black Mask goes to the trouble of making, like, here's your embroidered folder, Bane. Everything you need to know about this contract.
Now, I'm also wondering, because he's a crime lord in Gotham City, how will his relationship be with the Penguin, for example?
Exactly.
Who would be a main rival to him?
And see, that's one of
who we know is in the game.
We know Penguin's in it, and we also know he doesn't have that bottle in his eye. And so every time we do this, I make sure I drive home the point that this is going to happen. At some point, Penguin's going to get his head slammed in the table, maybe by Black Mask, maybe by Batman. Even
exactly, because there is no love lost between the two of them.
Oh, no, yeah, they're always fighting for power here in Gotham City. Here's a little bit of light on the costume you can see there, looking a little bit even navy in this light, but maybe that could just be our computer settings. Like I said, Christmas Eve, you're out here in the streets beating people down, taking their things. More Bane, a little bit of Deadshot, and a little bit of Deathstroke. Now, here's a whole bunch of stuff. Let me get my notes out here.
Deathstroke also looks a lot different than he does in the comics. One of the things is that in the comics, he's always had a fabric mask, and this is clearly a helmet. This is hard protective casing. He's definitely a lot more armored up than he's ever been in the comic books.
Right, and that's what's always interesting about seeing these characters brought to video games, in different video games. Obviously, he was in DC Universe Online and stuff like that, and Mortal Kombat. Not Mortal Kombat, Injustice.
Oh, Injustice.
Sorry.
Right.
Slip of the tongue. But, everybody needs to have their little things. Over here, it looks like they're in some kind of maybe underground wrestling ring. They have this thing over here that says next, if you look to the left there. And then go a little bit further, we had the Punisher, as I believe that one says. Again, I couldn't see it on my screen.
Wouldn't be the Punisher, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I know, but they're not. But it's like wrestlers. We're about to see one that says the Brute. It's like they're giving generic names to fighters.
So this could be some sort of an arena then.
Exactly. It looks like people would fill in right around here and do this.
Right.
And
this is the sort of thing that Black Mask would host.
Right. And you look down, you have basically metal icicles.
The little spikes make sure that you can't just jump up over and climb out.
Yeah. And what do we have there? What does that say? Broiler deck?
So does this hint that at some point during the game, Batman is actually subdued and is taken to this arena?
This thing? I mean, maybe, yeah, exactly. Maybe this is even Deathstroke's lair that he's set up or that he's found or whatever. Because over here we have Medical Ward. There's the Brute I was talking about before.
Right.
It seems like, this is like some kind of super underground UFC, but not even UFC. Like back when it was just horrible, let's fight each other kind of thing. Which is the original sport if you watch the EA E3 press conference. Batman getting a little down and dirty here. Back to the clock tower where we're at. City Hall, maybe. Can't see. Can you make out what it says right there?
No, I cannot.
All right, then. Well, City Hall. All right, get off my back. Again, Batman. This is also in the trailer the first time we hear the new Batman voice. Of course, Batman no longer being voiced by Kevin Conroy. This is an earlier, younger Batman. They wanted to go in a different direction for it. Make him sound a bit younger.
Sounds a lot like Kevin Conroy, though.
Well, I know, and that's the interesting thing. Is Robert Craig
exactly
Smith,
like him.
Robert Craig Smith, the guy who did Ezio in the Assassin's Creed games there. But since he's trying to be a younger Batman in the same timeline, you'd imagine he's trying to do the Kevin Conroy impression.
Right.
And I'm not super sold on it. Are you, Chuck? I mean, how do you feel about this whole voice thing?
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it wouldn't make sense that, just a few years earlier that the voice would be completely different or anything, but I think he sounds enough like Kevin Conroy that I don't have a problem with it.
It's not like I have a problem with it. I guess my thing is, like, I'm so used. I remember, when Batman Arkham Asylum first came out, Kevin Conroy would go on interviews and talk about how, to him this was the extension of the animated series.
Right.
And I think the fact that they brought so many voices back from it kind of proved that. And then you start thinking on that line of reasoning, it's like, well, I've heard then Kevin Conroy play young Batman before, you know what I mean? Like early Batman, and it never really threw me. But again, I'm not upset. Do whatever you got to do. Oh, yeah, I bet we can see it there. What we got there? A bank. Merchant's Bank. There you go.
So it's the bank building.
Ladies and gentlemen,
okay.
Confirmed. Banks in Batman.
There are banks in Gotham City.
Arkham Origin has banks.
You heard it here first.
First chapter in the series. You get a nice shot here. The Bat Plane.
Okay, now this I have a problem with.
You have a problem with the Bat Plane?
Well, 2 years in, and he's got a Bat Plane. I think by now he might have a whirly bat. but a big bat jet like this.
You bought a bat jet.
Yeah,
of course,
I mean,
in the game, it's being used to fast travel.
Right.
That way you can get around the map since it's so much bigger.
Practically, it makes sense. It makes sense for the game world.
Right.
Not so much for the mythology.
Exactly, and it's funny. I today on the live show, I was asking them about that. Like, so why does Batman have this? And I didn't worry about the bat plane so much. I was like, why does Batman have this awesome detective vision he never used before or whatever? And they're like, well, we're not really getting hung up on that. If you really wanted to do it, he doesn't bring every gadget out every time he goes, but we want to make the game more fun every time we do it.
A wizard did it.
Exactly, right. And we have this new weapon here that automatically takes people down. I thought that was a nice little touch here. Basically, a sticky bomb that shoots off there, grabs up there. There you go. Don't fuss, no muss. Here we can see Batman take on a helicopter, kind of. We don't even know how the helicopter goes down. But this was what they were showing me is
his new detective mode.
The idea with this new detective mode is that Batman goes in, scans the area, kicks it back to the Bat computer, which then creates a simulation to show him, okay, this is how this all went down, and you can trace it back and find the bullet or the person or whatever really went wrong.
So his technology was actually more advanced in the past than it was in the
Exactly.
future.
See, I was thinking if I was when I asked him the question, my thing would have been, oh, well, over time, Batman got better at being a detective and didn't need to rely on the computer. He could look at it himself, figure it out. Like, there you go. But he didn't go that way. That's why I should get hired, I guess.
You actually gave him that out, and he didn't take it.
I'm hired just to be the continuity expert. There you go. Another little sticky grenade thing where he pulls them together. I like that quite a bit. And then here we get to see Bane and Batman fight just a bit. Only a few frames, if you will. Batman...
Well, he probably also didn't have Oracle to rely on at this point.
Right. Oracle probably just a girl.
Or just a Batgirl.
Or just a Batgirl. God, I hope she's in this Batgirl. Wouldn't that be great to see Barbara Gordon? And here we go. Our first shots of the Joker, a much younger Joker, played by Troy Baker. He's Joel in The Last of Us, Snow in Final Fantasy. The list goes on, but there he is.
Doing a very good Mark Hamill impression, I think.
See, I thought like that one I thought sounded different enough that I didn't even hear that much Hamill in it, but I could buy it. I don't know, the Joker's changed.
It's the same style,
sure.
At least.
Oh, yeah, sure, I'll give you that.
But definitely a more spry, younger-looking Joker than the last time that we saw him.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So do you think they're going to do the Joker's origin, and how will it tie into Black Mask?
I don't think they will.
Nope.
I don't think they're going to do the origin, because today on the thing they said this isn't about Joker's origin, this isn't about Batman's origin, it's about the origin of their relationship.
Okay.
So like watching this trailer, I'm more interested. Did Bane throw him through a wall here? I know the trailer's not chronological; they can do whatever they want to make quick cuts.
Right.
But Batman's clearly gotten the stuff kicked out of him, and here he is. And what is Joker blowing up? Right, he's got this like pool table full of detonators, and he's detonating one here at random. It looks like, and blowing something up. I'd love to know what he's taking out and why Batman would care more than anything else.
Well, now in the comic books, in the storyline Nightfall that Bane was introduced in,
right,
his tactic to take Batman down was to release all the prisoners from Arkham. And so Batman was going after them one after the other, and weakening him to the point where Bane could come along and break his back.
Exactly, getting tired.
Do you think that's what's going on here?
It's not a bad idea, right? If we knew all the assassins, it would make more sense. And that's something else that's interesting, right? It's Arkham origins. So
Right.
is it the origins of how he got all the crazy people into Arkham Asylum?
It seems like that would be the point, because, I mean, before there was Arkham, there was just Blackgate Prison.
Right.
And, of course, that is, part of what the Vita game is about, is Blackgate Prison.
Right, yeah. The Blackgate is the Vita/3DS game that is actually set after this, coming out on the same day, which I'm never a fan of.
Right.
If you give me a portable game that's tied into it's a before or after, give me some space between them, but
yeah,
whatever. I was telling you before we started recording, I got to see it for the first time, 20 minutes of gameplay, and I was like, okay. Like, there's always that concern when a developer takes over a new developer takes over a franchise that's so beloved and so well done with one developer that you don't know what's going to happen. But it looks like WB Games Montreal is doing it justice in a lot of ways. So I'm interested.
Absolutely, and also, usually when that happens, it's some sort of an offshoot. And not an actual sequel, and this one's an actual sequel. This is part of the trilogy. It's the beginning of the trilogy, so to speak.
I mean, what's interesting, right, is I think it's the beginning of the franchise. I don't think they're going to limit themselves to 3 games.
Oh no, absolutely not.
We have lots of rumors that Rocksteady's working on a next-gen Batman, and that's why they wanted to have another Batman game out, obviously, because they're super successful. Give it to somebody else, have them take it out.
And in fact, I would love to see Arkham Endings. You know, I
awesome.
think bringing Batman back, doing a Dark Knight Returns with him, you know, a little bit older Batman this time, that would be an awesome.
I mean,
conclusion.
how awesome would it be to do Arkham endings and then do either Dark Knight Returns or Batman Beyond?
Right.
Jeez Louise. And everybody, I'm so glad I'm so glad they made a good Batman game. You know what I mean? That was a long time ago. I talked to somebody from WB, and they were talking about how, you know, they could have rushed out a game for Dark Knight to try to tie into the movie, and they're like, we couldn't afford another bad Batman game.
Right.
So they let Rocksteady have time to make this, and look at what it is now. Juggernaut.
For years, Batman was cursed.
Yeah. Well, superheroes in general, right?
Any superhero. There was only one good Batman game before that. I think Batman Returns, maybe for the SNES.
Yeah.
And that was the only good one.
I remember the Batman movie game wasn't terrible on Genesis. I'm sure SNES too. Whatever. I know. It wasn't good in terms of like a good Batman rendition. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But yeah, lots to keep your eye on here, ladies and gentlemen, for Batman Arkham Origins. Comes out worldwide on October 25th, and leading up to that release, you can bet your bottom dollar that myself, Chuck, and every other comic book nerd here at IGN will be covering the hell out of this game. Chuck, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you very much, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beyond.